We passing time, it's passing fast. It's lasting long cause our passion lasts. The test of time, it presses back. We staying strong, we never crack. America's favorite pastime. Remember the last time that you and I just grabbed some mics, related while we passed rhymes, back and forth in the cypher late at night. Those were my favorite times. It made my night so many times, exchanging lines and digging deep into our minds. It was the philosophy of life that gave us drive.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? Back at you with another video on today. It's Clutch Sports Entertainment. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, click on the bell so that you'll be notified whenever we put up an upload. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to talk about what Joe Mixon brings to the table for the Houston Texans this season. Now, definitely, man, in the offseason, I really think that Nick Caserio did a wonderful job in bringing in a lot of talent and trying to get this team into the postseason, but not only to the postseason, be able to get the Houston Texans in the playoffs and be able to compete for a Super Bowl. The type of team that they put together definitely is going to be a very good team on paper, but you still got to go into the league and prove that you belong. And the Houston Texans do have a tough schedule this year, so it's not going to be easy, but I think that this team is still going to be a phenomenal team, especially with getting guys like Joe Mixon in the backfield and being able to bring in a pass rushing demon like your boy Danielle Hunter is going to be definitely vital for this team, because you're going to be able to need to get to the quarterback, and as well as you're going to need to have the ability to be able to run the ball out of the backfield consistently this year behind C.J. Stroud, giving him the help that he needs on the ground and giving his team what they need, the help on the ground. Now, Joe Mixon, we know, is a savvy running back. He's one of the better running backs in all of the National Football League. Mixon has the ability to rush over 1,000 yards. Mixon will be solid in the run game, and his ability to catch out of the backfield will open up the offense for the Houston Texans. And Mixon is very good at pass blocking. So you got three things that Mixon is going to bring to the table out of the backfield for the Houston Texans this season. That's the ability to be solid in the run game, to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield, which is going to be needed because Joe Mixon is very solid when it comes to catching out of the backfield, and then being able to add protection to help C.J. Stroud even have a better season this year. Definitely, man, I think the sky's is the limit for C.J. Stroud to even get better, and he could possibly even win and be the MVP in the league. That's how good C.J. Stroud has been for the Houston Texans. But having a help out of the backfield like Joe Mixon and also Dameon Pierce that's on the team as well is going to play a role in this as well. But definitely, man, Joe Mixon is one of those guys that gets better as he continues to get more carries. And I see that Joe Mixon is going to be a baller with this team. I think that he will easily be able to run over 1,000 yards. Joe Mixon is going to give them what they didn't have last season in the backfield. Now, don't get me wrong. Devin Singletary was a good player, and he was solid for the Houston Texans last year. But having a guy like Joe Mixon changes up everything. For one, he's a bigger back. For two, he's great at catching the football out of the backfield, and he's just going to bring that dimension to the game that the Houston Texans need. You need to be able to run the football in the National Football League. I know that the league has become a passing league now, and everything is predicated upon the pass, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you still cannot afford to abandon the run game, and Joe Mixon is going to give you what you need at the running back position. He's a guy that can play all three downs, and he can get touchdowns around the goal line, as well as being able to carry the ball, throughout the game, consistently. That's what he's going to bring, that consistent effort. So I think this is going to be phenomenal, man, for Joe Mixon and for the Houston Texans, because it's like, they're getting a good player. Now, in the offseason, I was envisioning that before all of this happened and Joe Mixon ended up leaving the Cincinnati Bengals, I was of the impression that Saquon Barkley would end up with the Houston Texans. Now, definitely, if that would have happened and Saquon Barkley would have been a part of this Houston Texans team, man, that would have been crazy. But at the end of the day, Saquon Barkley ends up going back home into his area with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then Joe Mixon signs the deal with the Houston Texans. And I think that this is a solid pickup for the Texans. I think he's going to bring you grit. I think he's going to bring you the effort that you want to see out of your running backs on the field. And just consistently being able to pound the football. That's something that you're going to want to do. You're going to want to be able to run the football as well. I know that they got Tank Dell. You also have Nico Collins signing a nice extension to the team this offseason, which was definitely needed for the Houston Texans to go into the right direction. And then you brought along Stephon Diggs, who's one of the better receivers in the National Football League, and who is probably going to be the number one receiver for this team. And Nico will probably be the number 2, and then Tank Dell will be the number 3 guy, as well as having a guy in the tight end in Dalton Schultz. So this team is definitely going to be well balanced, but they're going to have to be able to run the football too in 2024. It's going to be about running that football as well. You know, I know what C.J. Stroud brings to the table, and I think that he's going to even be better in 20. You know, sometimes I know players have that sophomore slump, but I don't think it's going to be a slump with C.J. I think he's going to continue to be one of the better young quarterbacks in the National Football League. But having that help out of the backfield by a guy like Joe Mixon is not a bad thing for the Houston Texans. So definitely, man, solid season for the Houston Texans in the offseason. I think that Houston Texans had one of the best offseason that you can have with getting the veterans in here that's going to help the team. Getting guys like Diggs, getting guys like Joe Mixon, getting guys like Danielle Hunter is going to make this team even better. It's really going to make this team better because Will Anderson Jr. will be able to learn more from Danielle Hunter on how to be one of the best pass rushers in the National Football League. And then not only that, Joe Mixon will be able to share his talents alongside with Dameon Pierce, the other running back, that's going to get some time at running back too as well. So the Mixon addition to this team is going to be everything. It's going to be box office for them to be able to run the football. And Mixon is going to bring that leadership that you need in the backfield as well, being a veteran and understanding the game and things of that nature. So I can't wait to see how this Houston Texans team is going to really, really look, because it all looks good on paper, but you want to be able to see this thing work in real time and in real life. And I think that it's going to work. I think that the Houston Texans are going to be one of the better teams in the National Football League this season. Definitely they're going to have to compete with the Miami Dolphins, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Baltimore Ravens, teams of that nature. But you got to do what you got to do, man. And don't know what type of team the Bengals are going to be this season, because a lot of things are going on with the Cincinnati Bengals. But at the same time, we know that the Bengals are a solid team as well. And I just did not imagine Joe Mixon leaving the Bengals with the type of career that he had with the Bengals. You know, I thought that he would probably end up being their all-time leading rusher. But that's not the case. He decided to take his talents to the Houston Texans, and I think that it's going to pay off for the Texans to be able to it's going to be vital for them to be able to use him in the run game, and his ability to catch out of the backfield is really, really going to make this team a better team, man. So I can't wait to see what the Texans are going to do, and how Joe Mixon is going to look with them, because everything is going to be predicated on the Houston Texans being able to play solid defense this season, being able to have a run game, because you want to have a balanced attack. You want to have a balanced attack. Believe me so. That's what you want. You want to be able to run the football on any team, and you want to be able to pass on any team. Yes, we know that it's a passing league now, but you still cannot abandon the run game, because any team that has a run game is a dangerous team. And I think that the Houston Texans are going to be a dangerous team. I think they're going to be one of the better teams in the league next season, and a lot of teams are going to be put on notice that this team is coming. I think that the GM did a wonderful job in being able to go out to get the talent that you need to make the roster better. That's what it's all about in the offseason, being able to get players on the team that's going to make the team even better the following season, because you don't want to crash and burn in your next season and don't make the playoffs and things of that nature. You want to continue to go up the scale, and you want to continue to get wins, and you want to ultimately be able to compete for a Super Bowl. And I think that the Houston Texans definitely with the addition of Joe Mixon and with the addition of Danielle Hunter and also Stephon Diggs, this team is going to be one of the best teams in the National Football League. Peace.
We passing time, it's passing fast. It's lasting long cause our passion lasts. The test of time, it presses back. We staying strong, we never crack. America's favorite pastime. Remember the last time that you and I just grabbed some mics, related while we passed rhymes, back and forth in the cypher late at night. Those were my favorite times. It made my night so many times, exchanging lines and digging deep into our minds. It was the philosophy of life that gave us drive. Order to survive, we had to rap to stay alive. I do not live a lie, this is my truth, it's what I do not try. Ain't no trying to do, it's what my homie told me. Now we flying